IIT Bombay alumni. Also, you have IIM Ahmedabad. This is like a really hotshot startup, great pedigree, and you're in a really hot domain building AI agents. You're bootstrapped, which is very surprising. We want to know all about you because you're inspiring the next generation of AI founders. Fintech use cases are so complex, they're so boring. Tell us why you picked fintech and
We were trying to explore many solutions. Yeah, are there some good options that we have to build it for us? And we observed that the solutions were designed not with complexity in mind. So we thought that if that is the case, then we will not get to the level of automation that we want. A very simple query like, I want to change my bank. It sounds a very simple query, but the amount of work that needs to be done to solve for this is very, very high.
where is your roadmap headed to in the next year? What is Karta AI's product roadmap looking like?
RBI is every day releasing new regulations. आप BNPL नहीं कर सकते, आप ये नहीं कर सकते, आप वो नहीं कर सकते.
You cannot go and directly use the OpenAI APIs because the model is not hosted in India. One thing where we are extensively working on is we have one version ready. It is the self-learning. The self-learning thing is something which will bring the maximum reliability and it will auto-improve just like human. By doing things, it gets auto-improved.
What gave you the confidence that you stretched your wings now in India and now you can move to the US? So how did this come to be? I think it's pretty bold, like you're bootstrapped and you're doing this. What does your strategic vision look like? Welcome Abhishek and Vijay, co-founders of Karta AI. It's a reliable self-learning AI agents and complex customer support system platform which you're building. So Abhishek and Vijay, tell me, you go back as friends from IIT Bombay. Tell me how you guys met and what it was like sustaining the past few years through the startup ideation. And here you are, bootstrapped and successful. Tell us your story.
Me and Abhishek met, I think, in 2005. We were in the same class, not in the same college, but in the same class, mechanical engineering. And that's when we started working together. I think छोटे-मोटे projects here and there. That's when we got started. I think I remember in Abhishek 13 trying to do some mechanical engineering project a long time back. Right after that, once we passed out, I think we had very different trajectory. Middle the trajectories collided here and there. I think once when Abhishek was doing a startup, we met. Once when I was working with a common friend, we met. Right, and then after that, ultimately, very recently, 2024, Abhishek was doing a legal startup. That's when we connected again, and then we started talking about AI, all the things that are possible, what all could be done, and we were brainstorming a lot of ideas. And whatever reason we stumbled upon support and fintech, in this end, we were like, let's give it a shot. We thought that the market for this is bigger. We had a thesis saying that on the personal side, you will have one assistant, which is a Siri or a Samsung or a Google assistant, right? On the enterprise side, you'll have one assistant. And that's what we wanted to build. And we thought, what is the best GTM to build that? And we thought support was a good place to start and to build that. Right? I mean, that's the rough story. I think Abhishek would like to add some color to it.
Abhishek, you came up with the name for the company. Why did you choose Karta?
As Vijay mentioned, I was doing a legal startup in 2024. My father is a lawyer. So first product from the Gen AI was built for that community. So from there, when I met Vijay, it was regarding a legal industry only because Vijay has previously worked in startup which was in SaaS. So I wanted to discuss something about the SaaS. Then Vijay mentioned that his team is building in Razorpay AI agent for the customer support. Why don't you come and join us? At that point of time, during the legal industry, legal startup, I had an English name. But then I realized that with Gen AI, there is a bigger market to capture in India and wanted to build the Indian story. Now I was building about the AI agents. AI agents we call in English is a worker and the worker in Hindi is Karta. So that's how the name originated.
Abhishek and Vijay, you've had experiences in working with companies like Walmart and Razorpay. I mean, obviously, these are large companies with so many use cases. You could have picked any domain. Why did you pick fintech? And there are a lot of other bold things you have done. We'll get to that. But really, fintech use cases are so complex. They're so boring. Tell us why you picked fintech and what's your niche? Why did you choose this?
We were trying to explore many solutions. Are there some good options that we have to build it for us? And we observed that the solutions were designed with not the complexity in mind, but with the horizontal skills in mind, right? So we thought that if that is the case, then we will not get to the level of automation that we want at Razorpay. So earlier it was just trying to solve for Razorpay. And once we scout the market, we realized that there is a white spot in terms of solutions which solve for complexity and which need high reliability, right? And
Give me an example, like for a person who doesn't understand horizontal and vertical markets.
so take an example of, I give for easy, then I go to hard, right? And easy is like an e-commerce, right? Mera order kahan hai? Where is my order? All you have to do is you have to ask an API. API will tell you it is in out for delivery, and that's the answer. But when you come to fintech, a very simple query like I want to change my bank account. It sounds a very simple query, but the amount of work that needs to be done to solve for this is very, very high. For example, right? The first step is ask for the customer's bank account number. Second, ask for a cancel check. Third, extract the name from the cancel check. Fourth, extract IFSC code from the cancel check. Fifth, take the name, match it to the existing GST and verify it's the same name. Seventh, do a penny drop testing into that account and see if the account is valid or not. And OTP and 3 other steps. So if you see, right, just this small bank account change, this sounds like a small use case, right? Is 7 different steps where agent needs 7 different skills. Right, so it's not straightforward, right? Just think of the skills that we need. Skill, you have to dock parts, you have to extract data, you have to validate data, you have to use OCR. So many skills are needed just to solve one simple problem. So that's what we realized, that the complexity is high. So you need to figure out special solutions that work very customized to that problem. And we thought that fintech itself is a big market, like it's a $2-3 billion market in India itself, right? Just for support fintech. So we thought that's the big market and nobody is focusing in trying to solve. So we thought we can go in with a deeper solution and give benefit to all the fintech players that are out. That's how we started thinking about it, because we were facing the problem firsthand and no solution was able to help us out when we were trying most of them, right? So we thought okay, we could build it out.
Abhishek, you obviously are building for a very regulated industry here. I know it's not fun. I'm from medical device industry, and oh my god, it takes 10 years for a drug to come from bench to bedside. So what is the fun part of building for a regulated industry?
As you see, if you are building for the easy thing, and that too in a Gen AI world where everything people are saying can be built in the vibe coding way. So to build a defensibility, you have to go deeper. You have to solve a complex problem. And if you just do it on the surface, you are just being called as a rapper on the LLMs.
What are some of the challenges, as in if for a regulated industry you're using LLMs, wrappers, do you have to deal with a lot of security issues? Is the data heavy because it is to go through lots of checks and verifications, validations? What are some of the things which you kind of like roadblocks for you which you had to overcome?
I'll tell you top 3-4 and Abhishek can add, right? First is data security, right? You cannot, in fintech, the need for data security is so much more higher than other industries that you need to have a dedicated solution how you're going to be more secure. Second is compliance. It's a regulated industry. Every other day your compliance is changing. Today you want to do X check, tomorrow you want to do Y checks. The day after tomorrow Z checks.
Is it because of the AI transformation which is happening so fast that this is also changing? Is that why it's happening?
That is also. And even if when there was no AI, it's a regulated industry, right? RBI is every day releasing new regulations. आप BNPL नहीं कर सकते, आप ये नहीं कर सकते, आप वो नहीं कर सकते, right? Every day is getting more stricter, which is in the consumer interest. Which is a good thing to do. So it is still doing it. Second is on top of that is AI. The third, I'll tell you, this industry requires more risk checks and fraud checks. Maximum fraud is industry not that. So you have to do more fraud, more risk checks, so that once you are doing all the query answering, you have taken into account all of those cases. But these are 3 things I can take at the top of my head, which makes fintech more unique.
One more very important part is when you are dealing with the banks, the RBI regulation says all the data should reside within India. Now, you cannot go and directly use the OpenAI APIs because the model is not hosted in India. The data is going out.
So then how are you doing? What are you building around in India?
OpenAI is being hosted by the Microsoft Azure, and they have a hosting in the Pune. And so this is one of the case. But there are many different models being hosted. Some of them are not hosted in India by themselves. So you cannot use the API. Then you have to buy the license and then deploy within the India whole deployment challenges, and then keep the data within India. That brings more complexity that not everybody is going to build.
Tell me frankly, what are the challenges of building an AI company in India? We were like totally shaken by what DeepSeek did, how it slashed the pricing on compute and token size and things like that. A lot of other countries are advancing so quickly, with access to these models, how are you crossing that challenge? Like, do you build out of US? Do you have like a US branch, or how do you manage this?
We are very, very Indian focused right now. I am telling you, every day there is a new challenge. If I start listing the challenge, this podcast will go for 4-5 hours. Every day, some new thing happens, and you have to figure out ways of incorporating that new thing into the product. And take DeepSeek, for example. Just in DeepSeek release, we had to test it and come back and say that is it good, is it not good, what type of things it does good, what type of things is not doing good, right? So, puri testing, it takes one full, kept us up for like 24 hours that day, just at a long span of fun. So, every day, some new challenging happening. But that being said, 2-3 hard problems that we have to solve in AI, right? And especially if you want AI to be adopted in enterprise, right, is reliability. If you remember, right, 2023 was the year of Gen AI POCs, right? And maximum POCs failed that year. And the number one reason of that failure of all of those POCs was lack of reliability. And that was our big insight around, okay, that is happening. Let us spend some dedicated time trying to solve that problem first before we try to go horizontal or by open the market, right? So we dedicatedly solved reliability. I mean, Abhishek can double click into what are the key things that we built around it, but that is what we attacked.
So, Abhishek, tell me, building upon what Vijay just said, what does reliability look like in today's world, AI dynamic landscape? Because traditional software engineering processes, the agile methodologies, they're breaking. What does reliability look like for AI companies from your experience, from your company perspective?
The past world was all of the business processes were written in the code, and code was 100% deterministic. It was 100% reliable once tested, but it had its own problem. It was not flexible. It has its own cycle of development. With agentic AI, you can quickly do a lot of things which humans do. But then Gen AI is probabilistic. That's why it is not as reliable as the deterministic. So then you play on the probabilistic side, help it increase. The probabilistic was based on the signals, the pattern. LLM does a good job of providing the answer if it is related to general knowledge. It is trained on the internet data, but it is not trained on your company specific business processes and other stuffs. So now it starts to hallucinate when it is deployed within the company. But the company, if they have to shift away from either the code based automation or from the human, it needs the similar reliability. Now you have to do a lot of work there to bring in the reliability so that LLM starts to work better, understand your business processes, and then start execute those business processes with 100% accuracy.
So looks like you're venturing out into a new Gartner's quadrant kind of thing. You're creating a new space in the reliability engineering in AI. Is that right? You're doing it differently because reliability in AI means it has a different implication because the algorithm does not produce the same output every single time. How do you know that this algorithm or model works, right? That's a problem you're solving, correct?
One example I would whenever we stuck with the problem, we see how would human do this, and then we try to incorporate those processes into the system. So one of the things human does better, at least in the repetitive task, is it might not know how to solve a problem first, but if the human has solved it once, he would solve it correctly again and again the same problem. The new problem it may fail, but for the same problem which it has solved, it would solve it reliably. The same concept has to be applied to the AI side. Build a self-learning loop sort of things where if it has done something correctly once, it should be able to do it reliably.
You're building such an amazing product with all your checks and balances in place. There's one question I need to ask. How do you break into the Indian enterprise ecosystem where you ask people to adopt a new kind of AI stack or merge with a new kind of AI stack? How do you do that in India? Because India has its challenges. It's a different kind of ecosystem. From ground up, AI has not yet been integrated. How do you sell to the enterprise? What's your strategy?
There is one good thing in India, like if it's happening in the US, people want to do it, right? So, and because there is such a strong buzz about AI across, right? People want to do it. Founders want to do it. Leaders want to do it. Every company want to do it. So there is a pull in the market, right? That is clear. That people want to do things. Then people will invite you saying, okay, let's build this together. Let's figure. The problem happens when you're in the enterprise. The data is so messy. Processes are so customized and so specific to that industry that becomes really hard for any AI solution to start delivering results unless it is super optimized for that use case. Which is why Indian people, Indian companies ka bar on accuracy and reliability is very, very high. And they need more trust signals to start adopting in the systems, right? So what we are seeing is that instead of automation, people are using it more for augmentation. And once they have a lot of confidence in augmentation, then people move to the automation step. I do an example in support itself. So what people want to do is कि आपके जो human support है, first you assist them, and then you, once I have confidence in that, then they are ready. Okay, let's go and directly automate it for our users, right? That is the path that we see that Indian enterprises are taking, and they're treading this very, very cautiously. Even though they're excited, but it's cautious excitement. That's what I would call it.
In India, initially the VC ecosystem was very skeptical, but now about startups, and now they're becoming open to newer ideas, and even the enterprises are becoming more open to startups. Do you feel that trend because you've built and sold so many products in the last decade? Do you feel that sense of change and shift in the ecosystem?
Yeah, absolutely, right? I think I'll tell you what is happening in the way I look at it, right? Because this AI is a new skill, right? Anybody with old skill, everybody is on the same playing ground now, and everybody is starting from not knowing AI and they're building from there, right? Earlier, kya hota tha, people had advantages. Like for example, I know how X works. Now nobody knows anything. Everybody is starting from zero, and because everybody is starting from zero, it's now a level playing field. Because it's a level playing field, now US startups and Indian startups are at the same ground now. Whoever learns this new technology faster now wins the game. पहले ऐसे नहीं होता था. This is only reflected now in the VC's attitude कि हाँ अब यहाँ से भी बना सकते हैं, यहाँ से भी बना के हम वहाँ crack कर सकते हैं. A good startup here can do things there as well, right? So we're seeing a lot of evidence of that in their funding patterns and behavior.
So, Abhishek and Vijay, one thing which startled me is you're planning to move to the US, your operations to the US, right? It's one of the things on your radar. And there you are bootstrapped. How did you get your first early customers, and what gave you the confidence that, you stretched your wings now in India and now you can move to the US? So how did this come to be? I think it's pretty bold, like you're bootstrapped and you're doing this. So what does your strategic vision look like?
We have decent friends, right? And because we have been in the industry for quite some time, we work with people very closely. We have been lucky enough that they agreed to be our first customer, right? That's how we got our first few customers. The confidence that you were talking about, that how are we getting confidence to go to the US? Because we are seeing some numbers that we're seeing automation up to 80%, right? Which is very, very comparable or sometimes even better than some really good startups in the US. And if we are able to deliver so much value in a much harder use case like India, right? India has way more nuance and very less standardization as opposed to US. And US standardization is much higher, which means their business process are more streamlined, which means there is more predictability for my AI. And therefore, we believe we can do a good job in a harder scenario. I think we can do a really good job in a relatively easy scenario, right? So this is coming from them because you've delivered results in a harder environment. If Abhishek wants to add, he can. But this is how we are thinking.
Yeah, no, that makes sense because your model is very robust. It can handle many unpredictable scenarios. So, I do want to ask you to work with multiple communication channels like email, WhatsApp, and probably there are other modes which you're handling. Give us an example of one messy scenario your model is capable of handling, and how do you charge? What's your pricing like for handling this kind of interaction? Do you go subscription? Is it freemium? Usage based? How are you doing this?
How are you pricing it, right? So what we do is we try and understand what is see today people are using human support, right? Which means every ticket or every problem that comes, you are spending some money to solve that ticket, right? For example, it can be 100 rupees a ticket, 200 rupees a ticket, 300 rupees a ticket, right? You're spending some money to solve that problem today, right? So that we use as a baseline, right? And then when we automate, we try to see that if we are able to deliver you the automation at a price which is a certain percentage of what you're already paying today, right? And if I'm able to automate 80% and we try to pass on as much benefit to the customer and try to take a percentage of the benefit that we're able to deliver. If I deliver 80 units of automation, certain percentage, 30-40%, we try to keep it ourselves, right? That's how we're thinking about pricing today. In terms of channel and what channels we are present on and how we are handling complexity across channels, I think Abhishek can tell you about our omnichannel memory that we have built out, right?
So currently we support the whole tech stack, the chat, any desk chat or the WhatsApp, and we support the email. We have launched the voice also. Now we are working two more things we are working on, the integration of the chat and the voice itself, because in many of the support cases, both things work together.
Can I ask you this? When you say voice agent, it's not a voice bot. This is something which will actually deliver things. It will do things, right? When you say agent, it has agency. It will act on your behalf. Okay, got it.
The same chat agent is now available on the voice also. It's not just that it will talk few things or do outbound sales, give 5 answers and then closes away. It will do same whole thing which was done in the chat. Now we are also working with one of the clients. So as we mentioned, we always go for the harder use cases so that we build a depth. We are working with one of our early design partners where we are working on vision assistant, where somebody generally in the technical side, somebody if has a problem shares the screen and then one can guide it through the screen how to do it or how to resolve. So we are working on that side where the voice will be there, the screen sharing will be there, and this will be completely vision assistant.
And just double click on this vision assist, right? This is one of my favorite ideas that we are working on. So imagine ki, you share your screen, right? You're not able to solve a problem. And then you tell our voice agent, please help me navigate through this screen. I'm not able to do X, right? It will guide you, the voice agent. Click here, go here, do this step, enter this, do that, right? Step by step, it will guide you, which is another level of support. One support is just to tell you and then you're able to do it and then, right? Another is assistive. It will help you do it yourself, right? It is super, right? I mean, I can't wait for this to release that.
So tell me, Microsoft Copilot has something like this. We can talk to your entire screen or operating system, but you're more domain specific. You're more tuned into the enterprise ecosystem. You have access to the enterprise data. So you operate a very niche, very specific to that fintech ecosystem, whatever that is. Yeah, that's amazing.
There's one thing to add on this. So again, if I deploy the same vision assistant for any company, it would not know how would the UX or the UI looks for the company, and the AI will not be trained on the latest UI. So now I have to build the component where I, just like in the chat support or voice support, I do the domain knowledge. I have to give all the UI UX knowledge to the AI so that it can guide.
Based on this fascinating use case, can you envision what the future of customer support looks like? Imagine a world 5 years from now where Karta AI is deployed in every large Fortune 500 enterprise. What does the future of customer support look like?
It's a little far, but I take a pass at what happens 2 years down the line. All modalities are connected, right? Chat, voice, vision, all are connected, right? And the support transforms to a universal assistant that can help you for all use cases. It stops being a support assistant. It starts being a general enterprise assistant, right? Where you have any sorts of queries across any sorts of modality, it is able to answer/do all your problems. That's where we see this going in the next. I can give you some my thoughts on what is a big fight happening for enterprise assistants, right? I mean, two things are happening. One is people are going after the employee assistant market. Like, for example, for every employee, there will be an employee assistant, right? Where I, as an employee, I will have a personal assistant to help me do my task, right? Get my data from here, make this report, do this, do that, right? There is one market that is going to open. Second market is customer facing assistants, which is I am building for my customers, right? Us customer ka ek assistant hoga. So these are the two markets that I believe are going to open up, and these are the two battles that are being fought, right? And we are fighting the customer facing assistant back, right? So if you see all where sales, marketing, everybody is trying to fight that battle, right? So I think within 2 years, you will start seeing big players emerge in that stat, and you will start seeing one unified assistant across enterprise.
Along the product side, what are some of the exciting things that are happening at Karta AI in the year 2025? What are some of the exciting things you're building in addition to whatever we just spoke? And where is your roadmap headed to in the next year? Or what does Karta AI's product roadmap looking like? What can people expect?
One thing which where we are extensively working on is we have one version ready, but we want to triple click on that side is the self-learning. The self-learning thing is something which will bring the maximum reliability, and it will auto improve just like human. By doing things, it gets auto improved. Whenever someone joins a new company, it learns about the ecosystem of the new companies and now start doing better. So that is the most important part, we think, and whoever builds it first reliably will much ahead of the competition. This is one thing. As I mentioned, voice assistant and the vision assistant is on our plate. As Vijay mentioned, we want to be part of the user journey across in the enterprise. So we deploy our agent to get in the users. Our agent is present to help the user onboard within an enterprise. We then do the support post onboarding. So we want to be present in the complete life cycle of a user within the enterprise.
I'd like to add one small thing. And I'll combine the two questions. One is कि आप 2 साल में क्या होगा, and what is there in the roadmap. If we see today, right? Today customer support agents को अगर आप एक human employee से compare करोगे, तो you will see that it has the skill of a college grad. कॉलेज ग्रेड से जो पास आउट होता है, you give him some instructions कि ये instructions हैं, इनको follow करना है, इनको follow करके answer करना. That is the level of skill that customer support employees have today. 2 years down the line, what we are going to go after is skills that have more expertise and more experience needed. These will not be just college grad level. This will be PhD level skills, right? For example, कि आप पूरा risk analysis कैसे करते? You will not hire an entry level guy to do risk analysis. आप पूरा fraud analysis कैसे करते? You will not hire a junior guy to do fraud analysis. You'll hire an experienced guy to do that, right? So what is going to happen is that your AI agent is also going to go up the skill stack, right? Right now it is very entry level college grad. We want to extend it to harder problems and harder skills so that it is able to solve that, right? So that's there in the roadmap, and that is also there in the 2-year time frame that you want to get it to like an expertise kind of agent rather than a just entry level college, right? So that's one way we are thinking about it.
Yeah, so it looks like you're headed in the right direction. I know one pressing question. There's a lot of buzz about AGI, artificial general intelligence, where your system will do things which you did not think at all. It's coming from the common sense of your really smart AI, PhD level AI, coming up with new ideas which are not in human capacity. Do you think in reliability engineering there's a solution for handling AGI yet, or you want to build one, or how is it looking in the customer support space?
I'll give you the honest assessment, right? We are trying very, very hard so that we goes from a college grad to a entry level PhD grad. You are talking easy, right? Which is like far, far ahead what we can do today, right? Very interesting, right? But honestly, it is. So there are two things, right? One is pipe behavior, right? Which is key. It can show some levels of genius once in a while or something, right? But for it to do it reliably for a particular domain, for a particular context, so that is helpful for an enterprise is a hard topic. So even if you have that level of intelligence, right, to bound that intelligence to a particular problem and deliver value, I think that's still a hard problem. That will still require a lot of reliability to be baked into that kind of behavior, right? It is one that I see from my bounded understanding of the topic. And if it is super intelligent and starts doing everything by itself, sure, then it will tell me what to do.
I think that's what it will be. We will become orchestrators. AI will start telling us what to do. On that note, I want to ask you, what is the size of the check you're planning to raise if you raise, and what is the funding scenario looking like for Karta AI at this point? 2025, are we sitting in July? What is your funding scene looking like?
Right now, we are absolutely focused on building product and getting to a particular growth numbers that we're looking at. But whatever we want to do, that we want to do next 3 million round, where we use the funds to go to US. We are already going in September, but we want to go there and establish a few people there, our next second hub over there, right? So that's what we need, funds for growth and maybe GTM.
On that note, you just delivered a talk at IIT Bombay. As a wrap-up question, I want to ask, what does studying at IIT do? What was this conversation you had with the IIT Bombay folks recently, and what does being part of an IIT ecosystem do to you? How does that work?
I think the top details Abhishek can tell you. I'll tell you the other fun details. Right? I remember my Saturdays, right, in IIT Bombay, right? My Saturdays in IIT Bombay, either I'm sleeping at 1 o'clock in the afternoon or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. That's in the tower schedule, or I'm out playing something somewhere, right? That's how I spent my afternoon. So I was expecting कि कोई नहीं आएगा, किसको, why would anybody come, right? And I was so positively impressed that इतने लोग Saturday afternoon को they're coming to listening to somebody about random topic. I was the things have changed so much and people were so excited. अरे ये कैसे करते हैं, ये कैसे बनाएंगे, ये कैसे होगा, वो कैसे होगा, and I'm like, wow, man. I mean, I wish I had that kind of enthusiasm when I was younger, right? It was nice to talk to those guys. And then you say, right, young people are more energetic. I felt it for the first time. Like, oh my god, you really ate. But yeah, that was a whole vibe about it. I think Actually क्या था वो तो just we were trying to discuss कि mainly around how at college what you can do with AI. How do you land? How do you look at giving AI is going to do a lot of it, right? How do you rethink work? How do you rethink careers? How do you rethink jobs? Right? I think that was the topic that we were discussing.
The talk was wonderful. My time in IIT was after the first year. The first year it was all studies, but after the first year it was mostly extracurricular. So I had to spend my time in cultural fest, technical fest, and all of these things. The talk on that day was totally on the AI side, how to look forward. The students asked a few questions around the hype of the AI, will all the jobs. So one of the question is it good to learn code because we see that the code is going.
So here I'm sitting in Silicon Valley. The IITian support system is so strong. If an IITian comes from a different part of the world, they come to Silicon Valley. There's this whole vibrant ecosystem. So IITians are doing a great job, and they work very hard to keep the ecosystem alive. So I wish you much luck when you come here in September to start off your operations in the United States, that too in Silicon Valley. And thank you so much for your time. Is there any call to action you'd like to share with the audience who have managed to listen to this amazing podcast and all the great products you're building? Is there something you'd like to tell them?
Yeah, we are hiring. Okay, if anybody is interested in
I have a lot of people who are interested to work for an AI company, that too in your domain. So, should they be based out of India, or is this completely remote? They can work from any part of the world, or how does it work?
it's remote. I don't think they have a constraint on location yet. But we're hiring for backend roles. We're hiring for the AI roles. If anybody is interested in these, sure they can reach out. And they're on LinkedIn. My email is vijay@karta.ai. You can reach there as well. But LinkedIn is much better.
Wonderful, amazing. Abhishek, any last thoughts from you?
Yes, we are building very good stuff. The self-learning part is very amazing, which I look at. And yeah, we want to hire.
Wonderful, wonderful. Wish you all the best with your hiring. I'm sure your inbox will be inundated with resumes. I'm going to send you a cartload from my end. My community is always looking for jobs. Thank you so much for your time. Hope to see you around on another episode of Pitch Cafe.
Thank you.
Thank you.